You are listening to Weight Loss Made Real, and this is episode 224. I'm your host, Master Weight Loss Coach and author Cookie Rosenblum. Today and every Tuesday, I'm here to be your coach and your guide to help you end your emotional eating and lose that extra weight. If you just found me, welcome. And if you're a regular listener, welcome back. Here is where we work together to end your emotional eating and that habitual overeating, and this is the main focus of all the work I do. This is weight loss for the thinking woman who's smart enough to know what doesn't work and is willing to dig a little deeper to make lasting change. Here is where coaching meets psychology and psychology meets brain science. And this is where your problem ends. Let's get started on our coaching session today. Today we're going to work on this: how to get and stay motivated. Many people in my Freedom Group think that I am their motivator, but the truth is I teach them, I show them their thinking, I support them, and I help them along the journey. I inspire them to take themselves up to a new version of who they can be and how they show up in the world. But I am not their motivator. I think that most importantly, besides the program that I give them, is my teaching them how to motivate themselves. It's a lifelong skill that serves them well when they go after anything in life, not just weight loss. And so one of their main goals working with me is to learn how to motivate themselves to do what's necessary to get what they want and to learn what to do when their motivation fades. When you think about motivation, I want to help you clarify what the problem is with getting and staying motivated. One of the main struggles with motivation is that you probably look outside yourself for someone out there to motivate you. You think that it's something either you have or you don't have, very black and white thinking. And that's when you hear yourself saying things like, I don't know, today I'm just not motivated. Most likely you don't know that there is a way, there is a technique to create motivation. And possibly you don't know where it comes from, what helps you create it, and what helps you make it last. So you might just think that you wake up motivated or unmotivated, and you think it's luck, or you woke up on the right side of the bed or the wrong side of the bed, and you probably think that you have no say in whether motivation visits you on any given day of the week. All of these scenarios that I just mentioned are not true. And that's what we're going to talk about today in our coaching session. I'm going to show you what motivation is, what it can help you do, and why you need it. We're going to talk about how it can make your life easier and help you reach your goals faster. Definitely, we're going to talk about the big question, which is, can someone else really motivate you? And I'm going to show you how to create it for yourself. I'm going to share with you what we do in the Freedom Group, our monthly membership for weight loss and emotional eating. We're going to share what we do when new members join to help them create their own personal motivation. I'll give you a little sneak peek into how we do this. We'll also talk about how and why motivation seems to fade with time and what you can do to refresh it. We'll touch on all the steps to do all of this. So let's get down to our topic. First, what is motivation? It's the drive that makes you move to do something that will get you closer to what you want. It feels like strong desire to take actions, and those actions push you to do something toward the thing that you want most. It's like the fuel that you put in your car that lets it move and it lets you drive. Motivation is like your own internal fuel. It feels great when you're motivated, right? Can you think of something that you've really been motivated to go after? Maybe now, maybe in the past? So you know what motivation is. Do you know why you need it? Motivation creates desire, and it's like an energy that takes you toward something that is your goal. Without that energy, instead of moving toward what you want, you're just going to have a dream without the action. Your motivation helps you do what it takes to make your dream into reality. So you could imagine that if you're working on losing weight and changing your relationship with food and losing the whole drama around eating, then you want to make that more than a dream, right? You want that to be your reality. So when you feel motivated, you feel driven, what does it do for you? Well, it makes the journey easier because you feel a desire to move forward. You feel pulled toward what you want versus having to force yourself or push to take action. You get up in the morning and you do what you need to do versus getting up and just kind of having no desire to do anything. I'm sure you can think back to days when you got up and you felt compelled to do certain things and it felt good. And then there were days when you just wanted to laze around and you told yourself you didn't just care. You didn't care about your dream. So let's talk about the biggest misconception. Can someone else really motivate you? I think you know what my answer is going to be, and the answer is no, because it's something that you create with your thoughts and your desire. Now, someone else can inspire you. Seeing what someone else has created for themselves, has achieved for themselves, if that's something that you want, then seeing that is very inspiring. And that will help you motivate yourself and drive forward. And in the Freedom Group, we have long-term members who continually share their stories, their challenges, their successes with the newer members. What this does is it helps the newer members see what's possible for them, and it inspires them, and it helps them create their own motivation. Someone else can support you, they can help you, they can remind you of your goal, they can encourage you, and they can also reinforce the fact that you have the ability to reach your goal. But that excited feeling you get when you think about working toward your goal and reaching your goal when you're motivated, that excited feeling is all you. It is an inside job. So we come back to our main question, how do you create motivation? If no one else can give it to you, how do you do it? So if you've listened to me before, you know that what you think creates what you feel, your emotions, right? And if you want to feel motivated, then you need to create on purpose some thinking that creates that driven feeling, that motivated feeling that will make you want to do the things that lead to your goal. You won't feel like you're forcing yourself to do that thing because that just won't last, as you know. You push yourself as long as you can, and then your willpower just peters out and you come to a stop. One of the most important things to create thinking that makes you feel motivated is knowing the answer to an important question. And that question is, why? Why do you want that thing? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to stop eating from stress? Why do you want to take better care of yourself? These are important questions I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to come up with a clear vision. What is your big why? What's the answer to those questions? This is something we work on early in the Freedom Group as soon as you come in. In the Freedom Group, we use 2 tools given to you in our first lesson, and they help you get clarity on why you want to lose weight, why it's important to you, and they help you create that vision of what you want. And that vision is so compelling, and you desire it so much that it helps pull you toward your goal instead of having to constantly push yourself there. One of those exercises helps you paint a picture, not literally paint, but write out a vision of what you want in great detail. How will you look? And how will you feel? And how will you act? And how will you dress? And how will you move through the world when you get where you want to go? And this vision acts to get you excited. And that feeling of excitement is so powerful that it drives you forward. Now, what happens if your motivation wanes? Because I'm sure you could think of things that you were motivated to work on initially, and then the motivation just faded away and you gave up on your dream. When your motivation fades, most commonly, if you're like most of the women I work with, you think, well, I guess I'm just not meant to do that thing. You assume that there's nothing you could do if you don't feel motivated. You might think something like, oh, well, I guess the spark is gone. The desire for that thing is just not here anymore. You think you just don't care. You feel flat or discouraged or just tired of working on it. And as a result of those feelings, guess what? You feel like quitting. And then you go through that revolving door that you probably know all too well of getting excited about something, pursuing it for a while, then losing your motivation, and then quitting. When you want something and you quit, you are quitting on yourself. You miss out on what you really want. You miss out on what really lights you up. You miss out on the joy of saying that you'll do something and then actually doing it. So your motivation fades and then you stop. And then down the road, since you still deep down inside really want this thing, this weight loss, for example, you come out one more time and you try again. I want you to understand why your motivation might fade so this does not come as a surprise and so that you're ready for it. Sometimes your motivation fades because you forget to think about why you want it. You know why you want it, but you're not thinking about it, so you're not creating those great feelings that pull you forward. And it might be that your perspective is focused on how hard it is to change, instead of focusing on how good you'll feel when you get there. Maybe your big why needs to be refreshed, why this is important to you. You know, when you look at the same picture or the same words over and over again, they become like the wallpaper. You see them, but you don't really see them. They don't bring up pretty much any feelings at all. And this is what happens when you put those little Post-it notes on your fridge, reminding you not to eat if you're not hungry. In the beginning, you notice them, you take them in, and maybe you walk away from the fridge. But after a while, you stop even seeing them. Sometimes your motivation might fade if you're focusing on how far you have to go instead of how far you've come. This is going to make you have thoughts like, oh, this is too hard. I have too much to lose. It's a giant mountain. I can't do it. So if that's you, this takes a switch in your perspective from focusing on how much there is ahead of you back to what you've already accomplished. So if your motivation fades, and it probably will at some point, how do you get it back? Go back and question your why you want this. Really flesh out that vision of what it will be like for you when you reach your goal and write it down. Yes, write it down. If it's important to you, get it out of your head and write it down. I don't care if it's paper or digital, but get it out of your head. And answer these questions. What will be different? How will it feel? I want you to go into detail about the feelings, because everything we do in life is because of how we think doing that will make us feel. So spelling out your feelings, it sounds a little corny. It's really important. I want you to spend some time every day envisioning what you want. Envision the journey. Envision the potholes. Envision those obstacles that you will for sure encounter. But then envision yourself getting up and getting out of the hole every time. Envision yourself triumphant at the end of the journey and really let those feelings sink in so that you want to do the steps you need to do versus feeling like you have to do them. So let's sum up. I want you to take away something to start working on this week, something to think about in putting together a blueprint for yourself to create your own motivation. Pick a goal. It needs to be doable, not so big that it's demotivating. So you might need to break a big goal down. You might want to earn $10,000 before you earn $100,000 and before you earn $1 million. You might want to lose 5 pounds before you worry about losing 50 or more. You might want to start walking regularly before you think about running. Know what I mean? And I want you to make time literally daily to think of what it will look like when you reach that goal. Read your words, read your vision, let yourself feel the feelings. Stare mentally at that picture of you at the finish line. And if you are one of those people that likes looking at things instead of reading things and you're inspired by pictures, then put together a little vision board, imagining and picturing yourself reaching your goal. Think of your work on yourself, your project you, and start with looking at where you are. Where are you right now? No judgment, just compassion. You know that's how we work here. Look at where you're going. What's ahead of you? What are the likely obstacles? Look at how far you have to go and then make a plan to do 1 little inch, 1 little ounce at a time. And then alternate back and forth between focusing on what you've done so far and what's still ahead of you. Plan some rewards for any achievements you make, non-food rewards, no matter how tiny your achievement was. Did you say no to food when you weren't hungry? 1 time? That is a win. You need to expect obstacles and setbacks. So think about what's likely to be an obstacle for you. And you know this from experience. What does it look like? And decide ahead of time, if this happens, here's how I'll deal with it. This is your plan today to motivate yourself. You can do this for sure. And I am here to help you. What we talked about today is based on a chapter of my book, Clearing Your Path to Permanent Weight Loss. So if you don't have it yet, I'd love for you to get on my email list and I will send you a downloadable copy of Clearing Your Path to Permanent Weight Loss. This is my book for thinking women who know that there's a better, smarter way to lose weight that is not a list of foods to eat and foods to avoid. You need to learn why you overeat before you can solve the problem of the extra weight. And this book will help you do exactly that so you can move forward. Remember, your goal is not just to lose the weight, but to lose the whole problem. I hope to see you back here next week where we will continue to work on your emotional eating and that habitual overeating step by step until they both become something you used to do. We know that's your ultimate goal. So for now, this is your Coach Cookie reminding you that as you search for answers, keep it real, my friend, just like you. And I will see you back here next week.